How pleased were you with the performance, particularly the last quarter when they were flying back Port Adelaide?
Yeah, obviously really pleased, Glenn. It was probably the way we played. We were pretty disappointed with our game last week up in Darwin, especially the style of play around our contested ball and our clearance. So to get that back today was terrific. And I thought, obviously, with bringing so many players back at some point in the game, we're going to probably struggle a bit. But the resolve of the group and the ability to continue to find, I thought shone through again in the last quarter.
The emotion, there's obviously a lot of emotion in the group with what had happened to a couple of players. Stood up pretty well.
Yeah.
Coming back, playing a good game.
Yeah.
Jesse playing probably his best game back. Jack Trengo playing as well.
Yeah, we had a bit to go through this week. Obviously, I've been working really hard with Max and Jess, who missed a lot of footy early in the year, to come back, and they're starting to get back towards their best footy. So that's really pleasing. And obviously, Jeff missing a lot of the week for personal reasons back in Perth, and Jack Trengo playing his first game. There was a lot to play for today, and I thought the boys, the spirit in the group and their mateship together, and was terrific today.
Clearances were 20-3 at one stage, and Jack Viney obviously played a huge role early. He makes a massive difference to his team.
Yeah, he does. He's a contested ball, player. He's a good clearance player, and obviously with Max starting to get back to some better form, and our midfielders, I thought they were terrific around the footy today. And Jack Viney plays a huge part. What he did for the team, and getting himself back so soon, can't be underestimated. The character of the person, the leader that he is, and he just willed himself to play today, and I thought he stood up really well.
As he pulled up, he looked like he was sort of a little bit sore walking in the rooms.
He's just a bit fatigued. He hasn't done a lot of training for 3 weeks now. So it was a pretty intense game. First game back against a quality opposition. So he will have to be nursed through this week again.
When did you think he would play? When did you lock him in? He's a definite starter.
Monday.
So you knew all through the week?
When he said that he was going to be fine, obviously he had to tick a few boxes through the week, but on Monday, after he'd run over the weekend, he was really confident that he was going to play, and when he gets his mind set on something like that, you trust his word.
Is it impossible, even as the coach, to not enjoy the Jack Trengo story, the comeback?
Oh, absolutely. I rang Jack Tuesday night to let him know that he was playing, and it brought an enormous... that was probably one of the phone calls as a coach you really enjoy. He's worked incredibly hard. He's had 2 years of not playing footy. He's had to work really hard to build his body and his game to get back into the team. And he's just such a quality person that we all love at the footy club. And when you make a call like that, you can hear the emotion coming back through the other end of the phone strong. And I thought early in the game today, I thought it was really, really positive for us.
Can you tell us a little bit about what was said on the phone call?
You're in the team, and you work really hard for this, and he's gone away and worked on some things that really, really strongly over a long period of time now, and he still knows he's got a lot of work to do, but just the reward that he gives and the spirit that he gives the club and the way he goes about his business is something really important to us.
How do you think he went today?
Yeah, I thought early he was really good. I thought his first quarter and a half was really strong. And as the game, he probably dropped out of the game as it went on, but I thought for his first up at AFL for a long period of time, I thought he was really positive early.
Is the plan to give him at least a few weeks now, or it's too hard to say?
It's too hard to say. You don't give anyone guarantees in this game. What we do expect is the behaviours to continue to be week in, week out. So he'll get assessed like every other player on our list around selection, and we'll just take it week by week.
Jesse seemed to have that real aggression, especially down forward, and obviously kicked the 3 goals today. I suppose he's been working into that good form, but how important is that sort of going into the back half of the season?
Yeah, I thought he competed really strongly when the ball came in his area today, both in the air and at the ground. So I think his first 3 goals might have come from ground level play. His ability to work in the air and then get the ball at ground level is very good, and it's something we've been working with him. He didn't play his best game last week. He was well aware of that. He's gone away and he's worked really hard this week, and he's put some good things in place throughout the week.
How do you think the forward line as a whole is functioning now that he's back in there?
Yeah, we sort of had a forward line that's been a little bit interrupted because we've had to use Petrarca and Hannon and these guys through our midfield at times, and we've obviously had Watsy and Hogues that haven't been there for periods of time. So to get those guys back functioning is really important to us, and I think over the next 4 or 5 weeks you'll just see them slowly connect better as the weeks go on.
Simon, do you think you could, your best is good enough to take on any other good side in the competition at your best?
We're really just focused on, Glenn, just building the behaviours as a footy club about what's expected week in and week out, and building a style of play that is capable of being successful. But we still know we've got a long way to go. We've had 1 week now after a really poor week last week and started to play some reasonable footy again and got some players back. But that's just a starting point for us, and I've said this a number of times. It's not where you are today; it's where you are at the end of round 23, and then we can assess it from there.
Will Jack Watts be better for the run?
Yeah, no, he will be. He's missed 4 weeks. He clearly himself he came off and he was pretty fumbly, dropped a few marks he didn't normally take, but he does open up our forward line and he connects with us inside 50. So he'll be better for the run. I think when you miss 4 weeks, it's really difficult, this game, and I think people underestimate how hard it is to come back in and play to a really high level.
He sort of lauded Viney, but what about Dom Tyson coming back after his break? He was exceptional, I feel.
Yeah, I thought Dom was brilliant early. His first half was outstanding. His work around the midfield and contest the ball was very good. So he's had 2 weeks out, and he's come back in really good shape.
Max seemed to have a bit of treatment on his calf throughout the day. Is he okay?
Yeah, no, he's just had a rolled ankle. So he'll be fine. He'll obviously see how he pulls up tomorrow, but hampered him a little bit in the second half. But we're really hopeful that he'll be fine for next week.
Obviously, it's been a very long time since Melbourne's played finals, I think 11 years. How big of a milestone would it be if you can go on to achieve that in the next few weeks?
We haven't thought about that. As I said, it's not where we are today, it's where we are at the end of round 23. And we know we've still got a lot of work to do with our playing group and our club, and continue to build and improve. And we'll assess that when the time comes.
Did you feel like this was the year, though, that the stars would align, I suppose, and you'd end that drought?
We focus really heavily on the year as a year that we continue to improve and develop our footy club. Now, where that took us, we were really open to that. We're putting no limits on the group, but we're really understanding too that we still are developing. I think we were still one of the youngest teams last week, and we're quite young again today. We know we had average games of 80. So we know we're still in a development phase. So we're putting no limits on where this group can go, but we still know we've got a lot of work to do.
What's the long-term plan with Tom McDonald? Does he sort of stay forward with Watson Hogan, or do you possibly push him back, or what's the mix there?
Long-term plan in football?
Rest of the season?
Yeah, look, currently he's he's playing well as a forward, so he'll stay there. Where he plays in 12 months' time, a lot happens in 7 days, so let's just focus on that for the time being.